Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another little catch-up chat on our Facebook page, group, project in your community. Okay, it's nice to see you. Thank you for coming on. We're going to have a little chat today about what's going on around the club. There's a lot of stuff happened in this last week. Game tomorrow at Swansea, which promises to be a good game. Um, Two pretty well matched teams, I think. Have a little look at the comings and goings and what we think might be happening. We don't mind a little bit of speculation on the chat. It's not going into print, so it doesn't really matter. And just a general hello, how are you kind of thing. We've got this forum pretty much sorted now. We don't have any issues anymore. What's something go wrong now? But yeah, so please come and say hello. Let me know you're there. Usual stuff. I'm always looking out, making sure we got someone on because it's just the sort of person I am. I worry. I like to know you're there. So you've got to tell me when you're there. Just come and say hi. Here we go. Look, Scott Harrison's here. New Butlin. Hi, Steve. Hi, how you doing, Scott? Hope you're all right, mate. Keep right on. Definitely. Nice to see you, mate. Thank you for coming on and having a little chat with us today. Um, what does New Butlin mean, mate? Did you used to work at Butlins? The old one? Just wondering what it means, because I'm nosy like that. Friday, the weeks sort of started to sort themselves out again now, aren't they? We went through Christmas and the New Year. You don't know what day of the week it is. We've got a busy week coming up, of course. We've got 3 games in 7 days. Stoke next week, and in between that, we've got Swansea tomorrow and Sheffield Wednesday on Tuesday. Fair play to Sheffield for giving us extra tickets. That's good. We always need them, don't we? We can always sell away tickets. Those of you that can get the tickets, obviously brilliant. Very privileged. A lot of people want to go and can't go because they haven't got the necessary points in the bag, whatever you call it. And so, let's see what's going on. Um, we've got nice 10 views at the moment, which is cool. Let's see the comments. We've got quite a few now. Here we go. Paul James, good afternoon, Paul. Dan Williams, Dean Williams, how you doing, Dean? Hope you're all right, man. John Farmer, hi, John. Lee Wilkie, hello, Steve. Ladies and gents, keep the faith. Scott's there. No, mate, last name. Okay, got ya. New Butler, Butley or Butlin. Okay, cool name. Yeah, so here we are. Friday afternoon. Looking forward to going Saturday. I'm out for a drink tonight. I'm going to be staying in tomorrow night. Um, I don't, I'm trying to think what the team's going to be tomorrow. I'm trying to think what's going on in and around the club regarding, well, quite a few things really. We had the Keshi business in the week, didn't we? When Kesh had his contract terminated. Well, it was agreed that the contract will be terminated. I think you don't have to you don't have to be a mind reader to know what's gone on there. I think you could tell that by Kesh's comments after the Watford game and by Chris's presser the other day when I mean, he was hardly gushing about Anderson, was he? And we don't know what's going on, and it's better if that's um, if there's unrest in the dressing room, it has to be sorted, and the man that has to sort it is the boss. And if he stepped in and done that, then we should be proud of him, give him a pat on the back, fair play to you, because you can't function with a fractured dressing room. You can't do that. Paz Parish, oh you mate, shit on the villa. Always know it's Paz when he says that. David Williams, hi Steve from sunny Tenerife. Is it sunny there at the moment, mate? What have we got here? I think we got like 15 degrees. It was a really sunny morning this morning, and then about 2 hours ago we had a bit of rain. Um, Dean Williams, what's happening on the transfer front? Well, that's a question. A question we'll be asking everyone in a minute. Graham Parrish, hello, how you doing? Great. Mark Reeston is here. Hello, Mark. Big appreciation for Kesh. Yep. Scott Harrison, sad to see Kesh go. Gabe was all. Yeah, I think there's times, when And it isn't really always about the player's ability or whatever. If there's been some kind of background falling out with himself and the management team or whatever, then you have to part company. It doesn't matter. We've seen it with all the best players, haven't we? And you can't let players rule dressing rooms. And I'm not saying that's what happened, but reading between the lines, they didn't get on. I don't think. Um, I think Kesh is what he is. I mean, I think he's a good League One player who can, I mean, he's had a few good games this season. He's always been there when we need him. He came on a free from Blackpool. He was on a short term. He was on a trial, and then we signed him, and he's done fine for us. But things go on, and I said in my piece yesterday. There's no room for sentiment in football. There just isn't. And as much as we love him, or don't, whatever, we can look back, for instance, at last season's poster boy, and this season's poster boy Kyogo, and last season's poster boy Alfie May, and whatever you might think of them in terms of they're lovely people and that. The club is bigger than any player, any manager, any owner. So the club goes on, we move on with it. But yeah, we've seen some good moments with Kesh Anderson. He's been there. The season we went down, I don't think he was particularly brilliant. Last season he was good. Scored a few great goals. Always worked well with Cochrane on the left. But I think that's going to break up now. I don't think we're going to see so much of Cochrane on the left. And looking at the transfer window, I'm not quite sure what you read into what Chris Davies said yesterday. I'll tell you what I read into it is that we're not going to get a lot of people in. I think we're probably going to get 3 in, possible loan as well, possible loans. Because what he did say was these things take time, so don't expect anything tonight or tomorrow. I think some things are going through, and these things do take time to go through. You can't just decide them in a minute. The player might have to ask his wife, who has to ask, blah blah blah. The agent gets involved. Then we look at wages. Then if it's another club, the other club has got to be happy with what they're getting. All those sort of things take time to iron out, and we need to get people in. Mark Riston is saying, fingers crossed for John Solis. He does look very decent, and that's one that I think is going to happen. But I said that 3 days ago. But like I just said, you never know, and no one ever knows until that signature is on the bottom of that piece of paper. And Andy, I don't know. We don't know if it's a major falling out or not. It's probably been going on for weeks, to be honest, because it was after the Watford game and probably even before that. But I think I don't think we're short. We're short for tomorrow. I don't know where we're going to be left short. I think we're going to have Kumas on the left. We'll have Kumas on the left. We have obviously got Stansfield, who would more than likely be either on the left or in the number 10. We have Dux, we have Roberts, we have Williamson. We're not short of people that can play in the midfield at the moment. And he wouldn't have started, I don't think. He hasn't started for several weeks. So, but this is the thing I was talking about last week when I said I'm not quite sure if yeah, I knew what you meant, Mark Easton, when you put solid. I think what I was talking about last week, and you have to think. I'll come back to you in a minute, Scott Corbett. It's a balancing act with the club because we've got so many players that are due to return in the next 2 or 3 weeks that we don't really want to spend money when we have quality coming back. So, for instance, you could buy someone to replace Laird, who probably is back in another 3 or 4 weeks. And then in 3 or 4 weeks, what happens to the player that we signed? It's just a really difficult balancing act, and you have to understand that. I'm going to go back now to Scott Corbett. I don't think, I think the Adams rumours, I wouldn't even listen to it. I just don't think that is anywhere near. I just don't think it's going to happen. You know, he's all right at Torino. Adams comes up every single time there's a transfer window. Adams is in it, mentioned. I haven't heard anything personally, so that's all I can say. If something is going on, it goes on in every single transfer window, mate. So I honestly don't know. Lee Harvey, how are you, Steve? How's it going? All right, Lee. Thank you, mate. How are you? Hope everything's all right. I had a little additional tattoo this afternoon. Steve Hickman saying hello. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little. That's me. Yeah, what's this one on my hand? It's looking a bit red because I've only just had it done, and the hand ones are a bit. That's a little barbell. That is. Look, can you see it? It don't look too good at the moment. It'll look fine later. So I've just literally come back from that. That's why I put the kick-off time half an hour after. Um, August Prisk still being mentioned, but there were quite a few clubs interested. I think, mate, all these things are pure speculation, and it's interesting, isn't it? How all these people know everything's going on at the club, but no one mentioned that Anderson was going, did they? Because they don't really know what's going on at the club. They just pretend. It's like, you know, they see, right, they'll know a player's available, so straight away the agent will try and link them with any club they can. So they'll put shit out there, and then, you know, clickbait sites pick them up, they put it out there, and they're not really linked at all. It just isn't true, you know, and I don't think that one is. But, you know, I don't know. I only read what you read, and I don't believe it. But, you know, you must make your own minds up. Richard Lawton saying hello to me. How you doing, Rich? Uh, Nice to have you on board. Son Steve Yickman, the ladies have made some good signings. I'll tell you what, mate, that ladies team, they really want to get into that Premier League, don't they? I was thinking that today. Another signing today. They play Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that. Dave Pegg's here. How you doing, Dave? Hope you're all right, son. Mark Royston's sick of rumours, but like the sound of pretty. Yeah, you're sick of rumours, but you like the sound of it. But you know, the Solis one, I think. But you've got to get them over the line as well. It just ain't that easy. Lee saying he's shocked Anderson gone. Mike thought Williamson would have gone. Shocked to see still, I suppose he is CD. I think he's CD's pet. I mean, the fact is, Williamson probably hasn't had a fallout with Chris Davis, you know, when Anderson obviously has. That's what happened, you know. Well, that's what I think happened. I don't know. You know, you'd have to be, you know, it don't take much to read between the lines, does it? And looking at those two pressers, Anderson's one where he sort of threw Chris Davis under the bus after Watford, and don't forget as well, he just took a load of shit off the fans. Anderson had, so he probably interviewed him a little bit too fast after the game. He was pissed off, and then when Chris says in his interview, you know, Anderson, yeah, well, you know, he was all right in League One. You know what I mean? Yeah, you use your head when you're looking at those sort of things. Steve Hickman, record fee, mate. There's no way we are going to be paying £15 million for anyone in January. I tell you that now. And if we're paying 15 million, I'd want to be buying someone better than that. And I'm not being funny when I say better than that. He might be absolutely brilliant, but we'd want to know, and I don't think we know that. And Anderson has gone. Would be nice to see Leonard back in. I think Leonard will be the next one out the door, personally. I think Leonard is going to be the next one. Now, I don't know, you know, everything I'm saying, I'm just, but I think there's been a little bit of a rift amongst the players. I think Leonard's probably involved in that somewhere along the line. Again, I'm just, you know, putting my ear to the door or looking through the keyhole or whatever. That's what I think. I think Leonard will be going out the door soon. Liavi, Sadio Mane to Blues. It's going to happen, mate. And Senegal's a nation, Lee. It's not a team. Sadio Mane would be absolutely brilliant, wouldn't he? Particularly up front with Mitrovic. Steve Hickman saying, no, Steve, the women's team. Yeah, that's what I mean, mate. The women's team, yeah. That's what I said, yeah. The women's team have made. They signed a Danish girl today, didn't they? She's Danish, but the ladies' team look absolutely nailed on to go up, I think, with them all the way. Lee saying he would be if I was in charge of getting players in. I don't know what he's thinking there. You're talking about Leonard. Yeah, but you know, you don't know. The thing is, Lee, right? People get upset, don't they, quite easily. You know yourself. So if you know if it's all right trying to put yourself in Chris Davis's position, right? But let's say, for instance, someone is a bit arrogant with you, or a bit shitty with you, or you know starts to do a little bit of that behind your back and a bit of that. You can't have that in a dressing room. If you're the manager, you can't have it. You have to stamp it out. Now I don't know what happened, but something's happened, right? So Chris Davis, I would say, fair play to him. He's done what's needed. If he has to remove players because they're not the right character for the dressing room, then that's what he's got to do. What you want him to do? Allow players to run the dressing room? That ain't going to happen. Mark Easton still think we need a keeper. Bring back Mike Kelly. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a keeper either, to be honest. I think that particular thing we can forget, I think. Paul James is saying, yes, he's Swedish. Yeah, it looks really good, mate. Of the ladies' team, I'm excited for. Steve Hickman, maybe they realise they're not good enough. I don't know. I don't think it's realising you're good enough or whatever. I think when you looked at the first half of the season and we're probably not doing as much as we wanted to do, then we haven't done as well as we should have done, really. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. We didn't have a settled back four for the first 15, 20 games. 15 games, and you can't have that. We need to settle back four. We've had a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of bad luck. I'm not crying about it because we are where we are because that's how many points we've got. But if we're going to do anything now, we have to start picking up points tomorrow. Scott Harrison is saying, win or lose, love the Blues. Of course, mate, always. Listen, like, I've been down there with the roof blowing off the Kop with 6,000 people in there. Listen, a lot of us have done that. Not everyone has, because not everyone's old enough to have done it. But it doesn't matter. That's what that's what we're about. We're a working class club. We are, and we don't need anybody to tell us how to suffer because we know how to suffer, don't we? And we don't. It's not the end of the bloody world, is it? I don't even know if I'd want to be like a Man City kind of club. Would you? I mean, look at West Ham now. It's absolutely soulless, isn't it? I've seen some West Ham supporters, I know a few. I've got a few lads who I'm seeing an Everton fan tonight for a drink. Actually, one of the old lads, and West Ham supporters are saying, bring back Upton Park. Look what they're playing in. It's absolutely awful. It's a big stadium, but it's got no atmosphere. It's terrible. If you want to get out this league, you get the best. Otherwise, we'll still be in championship by the time the new ground built. The thing is, Lee, if it was as easy as saying get the best, but sometimes you buy what you think is quality and it doesn't turn out to be as good as you think it was going to be. And that's, and that happens, doesn't it? We've seen it ourselves. We've seen, for instance, Kanye was supposed to be one of the best number 10s in Europe, and he really does. I don't know what it is with him, but he came on last weekend and he looked awful, So, you can't just, if it was easy as buying the best players, then that's what everyone would do if they've got the money, of course. We have got the money. Ken Weldon era, rough times. They were, Paul, absolutely terrible, mate. But like Steve says, good old days, and they were as well. Andy Wood, been in the cup with fish running down the steps. I sort of like that, really. It was the old, if it was like in May or something, it was getting a bit warm, and they always say trickling water is a nice, calms you down a bit, I always thought that, with the wee running down the steps of the Kop. Nice. Man City are as corrupt as, exactly, about Man City, yeah, is that what we want? Do you want that? I mean, Man City, proper working class club, not anymore. That's gone, that has. I'm not saying the Man City fans still don't love the club the way they do. They used to, but it ain't the same club. Jason Bradley, is that Bradley, mate? Yeah, Bradley says, yeah, and the Kumar brothers, bad days. Yeah, when we used to have the old Mark 1 on the shirt, we thought we were going to win everything because Mark 1 owned us in the bull ring. Kumars, Samesh and Ramesh Kumar, if you remember them too. Those were the days. Lee Harvey saying, yeah, they get away with it. Man City, they do. But, I think sometimes you have to think to yourself, where do you want this to end up? Do you want this to end up where we are like Man City? Seriously, ask yourself the question now. Let me know. If you want to be, like a Man City, then tell me and we'll have a chat about it. Um, Steve Hickman saying the best wall of piss I've seen was Wembley. Oh, mate, Wembley 1991 was disgusting, wasn't it? The toilet, the bugs at Wembley were absolutely disgusting, weren't they? That old Wembley was fucking horrible, wasn't it? Really, when you think about it. Um, so the team this week, and there's something else I was going to say as well. When Chris Davis is talking about when we bring in players back over the next course of the next 4 weeks. Um, See, Lee's saying, I'm sorry, I'll come back to that. Lee Harvey saying I'd be happy if we was like Man City all day long. I'd say I wouldn't, and that's me. Um, well, I know about the best players in the world, but I wouldn't want to be like Man City because I think they've lost the soul, and that's the truth. That's what I think. Ken Marsh, Barry Fry and Sullivan had the most toilets when the new stands were built. Barry Fry was a nutcase, wasn't he? You got to love him though. And little David Sullivan, chubby little Dave with his blue pool table. Nice touch. Um, yeah, so when Chris Davis was talking the other day, it made me think we're not going to bring that many people in. Uh, he said we don't need many, we just want to bring in a few people that are better than what we've got. Well, we've let some go. So I would think we're probably going to bring 3 or 4 people in maximum. Um, I'm hoping one's a striker. I think we might bring a left-sided centre half in, and I think we do need like a bit of a governor in the middle of the park in terms of someone who's more physical than what we have. So I think those are the 3. Now, Chris Davis has got a way of sneaking players back. A couple of weeks ago, I was shocked when I see Scott Wright sitting on the bench. I knew he was sort of getting near fitness. I didn't know he was anywhere near getting on the bench. And I think it could easily happen, with a Lee Buchanan or probably Lee Buchanan or even Ethan Laird over the next few weeks just to see one of them sitting on the bench, and that to me is probably going to be the explanation why we're not going to bring in an awful lot of players, because now what we're short of really is Laird and Buchanan, isn't it? Cochrane's injured, I know. Who else is out at the moment? Have a little think. Dimmy will be back in a couple of weeks. When we get them back, we're back to full strength. And if we add 2 or 3 players to that, it makes us look really, really good. We slimmed down now as well, so the wages are going to be less now. Someone was saying, why didn't we get a fee for Anderson? We didn't get a fee for Anderson because he's got 6 months left on his contract. Who's going to buy him? And if they're going to buy him, what are they going to pay with 6 months on his contract? Be better for Anderson just to sit it out, get his wages, and then do a deal as a free agent. As it works out, they've done a deal where they just terminate the contract and both walk away from it, and Anderson can go and find somewhere to play in this window, and he's probably already got somewhere. He's probably been flashing his knickers at someone over the last few weeks. See if he can. If he can get any interest, and he's probably got somebody, so let's call it a day. Richard Lawton saying a new winger to replace Kesh and Scott Wright. Well, Scott Wright's back in the squad, so we don't need to replace Scott Wright. And I don't think we need to replace Anderson. We've got a lot of wingers, to be honest. We have. I mean, when you say get someone to replace Kesh, we have, haven't we? Because we've extended the loan for Kumas until Dimmy comes back. When Dimmy comes back, we're not short of wide players, and Kumas may stay for the rest of the season. So you know, I don't think he's going to get a winger. And I'm not saying that because I don't think it would hurt to get one, but I'm just going by what Chris Davis said. He more or less said we're not going to bring many players in. So, you know, you have to sort of think about that. So why are we going to pay for Roberts? He only has 6 months in his contract. Well, because in 6 months, Roberts becomes a free agent. So if we wait, you're talking about different players here, you know, Roberts and Kessie Anderson. Anderson isn't going to get an awful lot of interest. Anderson isn't going to have 30 odd clubs waiting for him when his contract runs out at the end of the summer. Whereas Roberts is a very, very good footballer. If we can do the deal before his contract runs out, if we can do the deal with Sunderland, then Sunderland are holding the contract. We can buy him off Sunderland for, you know, a nominal amount of money and then do the deal with Roberts on the wages. That's how that works. You know, if Anderson was a Roberts, we wouldn't, you know, then it would be totally different, but he's not. He's not going to command a big transfer fee, is he? And he's not like, you know, he's not a world beater. You know, who's going to come from League One or you know, bottom half of Championship and put a massive bid in for Kessie Anderson now when in 4 or 5 months' time, you probably won't have many clubs interested in him. That's how that works. Steve Watkins said, "You think we'll get the midfield player from Brentford?" I don't know nothing about it, so I couldn't say. I think we're going to be bringing someone in, you know, someone strong, strong and physical, and I'm hoping, you know, that it's the lad we was talking about earlier. It's buzzing that Lee Harvey's buzzing Kumas is staying. He's staying for now, Lee. We don't know what the long term is. Franco Mieka, yeah, I don't. Again, probably agents putting the stories out. I honestly don't know. You know, I think Solis is the one for me. They're trying to get over the line at the moment. That's what I think. I think we'll be looking at a striker, and I believe they've got a left-sided centre half that they've already spoken to, but that's all I can say on that. I can't find enough out about it. Paul James is saying Frank Onyeka is a Brentford player. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Kumas? I know a lot of people were moaning about him early in the season, but this lad's a good lad. He's a nice little player. He works hard. Scored his first goal for us against Coventry. I don't think he's got it quite right yet in going past players. You know, he hasn't got Velcro feet like Roberts and Dimmy have got, but he works hard. He's quite strong as well for a skinny lad, and I think he's worth keeping for the time being. And who knows what happens at the end of the season? From what Brian Dix is saying, Solis is done deal. Is that what Dix is saying? Well, you know, if that's what he's saying, then you know, he's doing the same as me. So let's hope that it is. I mean, it's the only one that we've said that we think is going to sign. I can't, like I've said before, I'll only say something or have something put in print that we don't know. No one ever knows until that player is holding the shirt up, but that we're pretty sure is going to happen. So I think Solis is going to happen. When did Brian Dix say that, mate? Paul James, he done well last few games. Yeah, he has played well in the last few games. I think that's what's made Liverpool, you know, wanting to stay as well, because he is starting to look better, isn't he? Kumas is improving every game. Yeah, he is. Scott, he is, mate. And yeah, he's only 19. You know, I mean, this could be a great start. This could be good for us. Scott Harrison, Kumas is improving. Yeah, he is. He's getting better and better. He's settling in more, isn't he? Lee Harvey heard it today in his vlog. Oh, great. I didn't know Brian Dix did vlogs, or he talked about the keep right on one that he does with Alex Dickin. Is that the one, Lee? I haven't seen that. Like I said, I've just come in. Literally been at work this morning. I had 2 clients that didn't turn up, which is like, Fucking happens though, you know. I went to barbers, got me hair. Look, I have this done every week. Had that done, shot straight back here, dropped my gear off, straight up the tattoo, got my tattoos done. I actually had 3 done today, and come back here just in time to get on here. He's still learning. He is learning, Lee. You better. He's a nice player. He is a good player. Bloody hell, listen. You know, Liverpool think he's good enough. That's good enough for me. Dave Pegg saw the Brian Dix interview today. He thinks within 24 hours. That's brilliant, that is. Ah, I'm chuffed with that now. I'm really glad. It's a shame we couldn't get Solis over the line before last night, innit? But he'd probably make his debut on Tuesday, I hope. But this lad, now you said that, we can talk about him a bit more. He's strong, he's 6'2", he's imposing, he's made his mark on the Spanish league. The feeling in Spain is he's not Spanish enough to play. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's a little bit too European. He could probably play for Atletico Madrid, who are like the English team in Spanish football. Atletico have a very European, like Northern European way of playing, and I think Solis is that kind of player, and he's not fancy pants. He's strong, he's technical, he can do the business, but the Spanish don't like that kind of bullying, you know. And Dave Pegg saw the Brian Dick interview today. Okay, thank you, mate. Lee Harvey agrees with me. Thank you, Lee. Val Collins, hello, on holiday, so shopping, keep Wi-Fi connection this time. Good, Val. I hope you enjoy your shopping, love. Love a bit of shopping, the girls, don't they? Scott Harrison, sounds and looks decent. Well, listen, right, forget all the Brentford stuff. If we think Solis is coming, listen, it's the one we told you about. But I don't like to be doing that, you know. We told you this week, because if you name, you know, we could sit there and name 30 players, and one of them goes over the line, and if it happens to be Solis, you can say, oh yeah, hang on a minute. Oh yeah, we named him. He was number 13 out of the 20 that we named in the last week. We got it right. But you know, it would be much better if people, I don't know, listen, people like a bit of speculation. It ain't no good for us. We're not into it. But if you are, there's plenty of groups that like to speculate. You can name 5 or 6 yourself now, you know, and that's fine. But, you know, I think if Solis is done, then that is absolutely fucking brilliant. I'm so happy about that. Do you know what? I'm so glad that you told me about Brian Dix saying that, you know, because Dixie knows the Blues quite well, and obviously Alex Dickin is the Blues, he's the Blues guy for Live. Birmingham Live is shit, you know, but Alex Dickin is a proper journalist. So I think if they're saying that, I think that's done, and if that's done, I'll tell you what, absolutely brilliant news. What a great signing he's going to be. So we'll see what happens over the next 4 or 5 days. We've got, like I said, I've heard that we've got this left-sided centre half. Now, I don't know how true that is, so don't quote me on it, because I can't give you a name. It's just something I've heard, and I've heard it off someone that I would like think, yeah, you know what, it's got a possibility. And I think a striker, simply because I think we need a striker, and I think we're going to get one. What are your thoughts on Ducks? You know, are you convinced with him yet? What about the back 4? Neumann, he isn't cutting it, is he? He's not the player I thought he was going to be. You know, when we bought him in advance and all that, I was thinking we're going to get an absolute monster here, but he just really isn't. Definitely Birmingham Live is shit. It is. Mark, Clenchy, come on, son. You don't usually swear, do you? Here's Mark. He's a good mate of ours. We love Mark. Lee, we're on Sky Sports main event tomorrow, mate, from 5. I know, yeah, from 6 my time, 6:30 tomorrow evening. I might even go to the pub and watch it, you know. I don't like watching it in the pub though, because you can't watch it properly, can you? And then I've got to come here the next day and talk about it. And I'm like, fucking talking to some drunk about his dog or something, and just glancing up at the screen every now and again. I like the Germans settling well. Yeah, I mean, we don't sign players for how well they celebrate, Lee. But I'm still not convinced about Ducks. I think he's got to put this run together for 4 or 5 games. It's no good playing well for 2 games. I mean, he played well against Coventry. He wasn't that great last weekend, although he scored, which is important. And he scored twice before, didn't he? A two and a one, and then nothing happened for weeks and weeks after. He's just got to get more physical. He's got to get more physical. He's got to mix it with the centre halves, and he's got to be consistent. You can't just turn up for 2 games in every 6 in the Championship. It doesn't work like that. Uh, Paul James is saying about Ducks. Well, you just heard what I said about him there. Big Philly struggling a bit. I don't know. I think now Neumann is like next cab off the rank in terms of the centre halves. So I think we've now got Clara and Neumann. Clara and Robinson. We've then got Neumann, and then from what I hear, we may have this left-sided centre half who would go in place of Robinson, and Robinson and Neumann would be the two centre halves that cover. Obviously, Buchanan can play centre half. Cochrane can play left-side centre half when he has to. Uh, Neumann can play right fullback, but we're not sure of right fullbacks. Bright should be back, maybe back for Sheffield Wednesday, but more likely for Stoke. So players are starting to come back a little bit. Lee Harvey saying, "No, me, mate, I don't even let the missus in the bedroom when I watch Blues." I know, yes, right. Eight talking, just one. Yeah, I'm the same, Lee, exactly the same. Wagner looks like a class signing. Yeah, Wagner looks really good, Jason. I mean, if with Jason Brayley, that is. If we've signed Solis and Wagner and a striker and a centre half in this transfer window, 4 players, right? I would be more than happy with that. So we've already got Wagner. We've hopefully got Solis done. We need 2 more. That's what I think. So if Solis comes, I think we need the striker, and I believe we've got a left-sided centre half. But it's only what I've been told, but I do believe it. But I can't put a name in there or anything because I just can't, because I don't know it. If I hear something, I'll let you know. Lee Harvey saying it's a keep out zone. He's put his missus in the bedroom. Is come on, Lee. Only when the football's on now. It is like that though, because it is like it at the pub. You get talking and the game's going on in the background, and you're thinking, Jesus, I want to watch this, but someone's down your ear. Like I said, I'm going out with a lad tonight, an Everton supporter who I was going to probably try and see tomorrow, but I don't want to now because it's an evening game. I don't want to be watching the Blues with an Everton supporter or with anyone else, to be honest. It would be an excellent window. It would, Paul, wouldn't it? You look at those, you know, when I say look at those 4 players, we know 2 of them. 2 of them we don't know. But if those 2 players anything like the quality of the other 2, then I think we're going to have an extremely good window. And then we need to then get that back 4 settled, because I think that's been half the problem this season. The back 4, when it really has looked at times like they've never even met each other before. I think last week when we were 3-0 up with 10 minutes to go, I think what went wrong there, honestly, was Robinson was substituted because it changed the look of the back 4. Suddenly they looked really brittle. They didn't know. I mean, listen, we won't go into it. We've spoken about it before. But Phil Neumann sort of hasn't got great spatial awareness sometimes. I think he lost where he was for the first of Kai Kai's goals. And the second one, I mean, he was just on his own on the penalty spot with the ball bouncing in front of him, with the net in front of him, No, not even a block. Lee, get some beers in the house, get your pal round, watch the Blue Steve. No, mate, tomorrow night, I'm going to go and see my mate tonight. We're going up a bar called The Gap, which is just up the road here. We go have a little bit of that, and talking about, of course we've got a lot to talk about with Everton, haven't we? Bob Latchford, Dimmy Gray. We've had a lot of players go each way. Howard Kendall, Archie Styles. Do you remember him? Uh, I've mentioned Bob Latchford. Who else have we had? John Connolly. John Connolly, the winger to watch. I think he came from Everton, did he? Plenty more, haven't we? You know, there's a lot of stuff going on with Blues and Everton. I sort of like Everton. Of the Scouser clubs, I'd probably be with Everton because like they're more like the working class. They're like the small league, the Brum, ain't they? Or they used to be. Um, yeah, has anyone else got any thoughts on that transfer window if it ends on 4 and we get, you know, a centre half, a left-sided centre half, a centre forward, or a striker? Because I think that would do us. We're well stocked up with fullbacks. We got good midfielders, but we need a physical presence who can, who can be Doyle's bodyguard. Uh, we struggle sometimes, I think, for physicality in the middle of the pitch. Um, Up front, we have a new striker. If we do, that would be brilliant. But if we don't, we still got Stansfield, Kogo and Dux. Stansfield can play the 10, Dimmy can play the 10. We've got Kumas wide, we've got Scott Wright, we've got Roberts. It's starting to look all right, isn't it? That's what I think. Quick, go and get your washing in, Lee. Where's the missus when you need her, mate? Dave Cox recently joined the page after a few months away, and I'm really enjoying most of it, particularly these live things. Great stuff. Keep up the good work. Dave, you're never going to please everyone all the time. I mean, um, I know what people say. You know, they have a moan about us. They say I'm like fucking Hitler or something. You know, whatever. But we have rules that we stick by, and that's the way it is. And we've always said to people, you haven't got to. You know, it's like me. I don't like the shit that's in some of the other groups. So you know what I do? I don't go in them. So like if I went in them other groups and complained about, hey, you know, why is there so much shit in there? They'd say to me, if you don't like the shit, fuck off. And I'd go, all right then. But what I do is I don't go in there. So when you get people coming to our group and asking me why, I don't let them slag the players off and slag each other off and slag, the usual fucking keyboard warrior. We don't have them. It's as simple as that. And not everyone likes that. And if they don't like it, they have a choice. It's entirely up to them. So it isn't, and the lives, we enjoy doing the lives. It seems you've only just come, Dave, or recently started joining us. We did have a lot of trouble with these lives on on Facebook platform, and I always was slagging Facebook off, like, fucking Facebook's absolutely shit in it. These live platforms, they're good, but they don't really work. Then I got a new laptop, fucking brilliant. So it's my laptop all the time, that one that's still sitting there, and I keep it there because I want to embarrass it. You bitch. Yeah, so these lives are really, really good, and we do also do some. We put these onto YouTube as well and put them into YouTube. We also do some Zoom stuff which we put into YouTube and into the group, mate. So you've got a choice of looking at these. These stay on for 30 days as well. So if you miss one of the lives, you can watch it later. Um, Oh, Dave saying he did, he did fuck up for a while and he missed it. All right, mate, nice to have you back. You didn't get banned, that's cool. Dave Pegg, with the players starting to hopefully come in and get back, you can add Roberts and Doyle. I don't mean add Roberts and Doyle. Yeah, I mean Roberts and Doyle, usually two of the first names on the team sheet, aren't they? And we need them there. They're very, very good footballers. Dave Cox, yeah, I just read that. Lee Harvey, fair points, Steve. Can't say any further than that, mate, to be honest. Thank you, Lee. Paul James having a bit of a, bit of a laugh, I think. Nice one, Paul. Andy Wood, I agree with that, Steve, but why do folk need to post in the project what's going on other sides? Look, that's really like it. And the thing is, and this is a gospel. I don't make this up. You can go and look at our numbers. We gradually, our membership increasing, never ever goes backwards. And the other thing is that we have this policy of not putting stuff in from other sites. We put our own content in. Now, sometimes probably isn't that brilliant or that much of it because we don't make anything up. We put in what we believe and what we can generate ourselves. Now, there's loads of times other groups share our posts because they're too lazy to do their own content. How many other groups do lives like this? How many other groups do blogs virtually every day? How many other groups have got separate selling pages so that their group don't get scammed? How many other groups do all the charity work we do and our moderators do and our admins do? We work really hard to keep this site the way it is. And the big thing is what I've just said, if people don't like it, just don't come on it. You don't have to go away and cry about it. But what happens is they come in, they give it all this, we get rid of them, and suddenly they realise, hang on a minute, that project, it was quite good really, and look what I've got to sit in now. I've got to sit in groups with loads of people like me because we all got banned. Yeah, so Andy Wood, that you're absolutely right, mate. James Milton is saying players will come. We're not getting rid of players for no reason. Keep right on. Well, the thing is, James, I think what you have to look at there, don't think that everyone that leaves is going to be replaced because what we have is we have a group of young players. What we also want to do is bring the wage bill down. Now, or what could be happening, we could be bringing in Solis, who could be costing quite a lot of money. So if we had, for instance, Leonard and Anderson's wages together, we could pay for Solis. Now, last week we had Isishi, we had Maswi and young Billy on the bench. Three young lads who all played pre-season, by the way. So you are allowed to bring some youngsters in, which is always a good idea. But at this stage of the season, we need to get it over the line ourselves. So it's not about numbers now. We don't need to have all those players. If we've got players that we can dispense of without paying loads of wages just to replace them, to have them sitting on the bench, then all the better. Players like Kenya, for instance, I don't know how much he's earning, but he won't be on a cheap wage. So we do pay well when we sign players, and sometimes we haven't done the best business with it, but I don't know. Paul James saying that's you freezing before a new laptop. I know, mate. It was shite, wasn't it? I'm so glad we've got the new laptop now. Richard saying, Steve, the best 11 when Buchanan, Lairdo and Dimmy off it. I don't know, because you got to think, Richard, where you're going to put them, So let's say Laird's fit, and let's say we get Solis. So what we're going to do with Iwata, or what we're going to do with Laird, when Buchanan's fit, Wagner's not going to lose his place. These players are going to be players, 60-minute players, or players that are there when players are injured. You know what I mean? So it's a really difficult one, but luckily we haven't got to make that decision. It's up to the boss. Like and subscribe, James Milton saying. I always forget to do that on YouTube. They always don't forget to say like and subscribe. All right, and fucking give it all that like. You know what I'm like. I can't stop myself fucking talking. I turn up and you didn't say like and subscribe. Come on, don't break my fucking balls about that. Dave, our Zoom meeting's on a Sunday. Hopefully help someone this week. Thanks for your help with that, Steve. Yeah, well, actually, Dave, that thing is, it's not over the line, but it's doing well. So hopefully everything's good with that. Our Sunday morning Zooms are really good if you want to come out in and actually sit and chat to us face to face rather than doing it like this. It's all right like this because it's a little bit more chilled, because it gives us more time to exchange thoughts. Richard saying, I'm happy to be a moderator, especially when I can see that there is always somebody as well as me keeping an eye on the group and we all discuss things that need monitoring. Yeah, that's the thing. That's how we do it, Richard. And I'm pretty sure, like people, like I said earlier, people think that any decisions that come through the group are all mine. They're not. We have a group of 10 moderators and 4 admins who make decisions, and I'm not there all the time. There's a couple of things that were done last night, like when I wasn't there. Because don't forget, I'm in Spain. I get up at 5:30 in the morning, so I'm quite often in bed by 9 o'clock my time, which is 8 o'clock your time. So sometimes I'm missing for a whole evening. And then things have to be done, and we've got Beck and we've got Alan, who are like admins and can make decisions. Obviously, we've got uh, uh, Emily and Emma. Emma like is lead moderator, and Emily and all the lads and everyone, Billy and Richard and Gal, and just we've got a good set of moderators who all do the best. We all make mistakes at times, and if you feel one of us makes a mistake, you've got to tell us. And honestly, like people will tell you, I will reinstate posts sometimes if I think they've been removed incorrectly. I've done it myself. We've all done it sometimes. We're not perfect. There's 24,500 people in the group, and there's 14 people to manage it, so it ain't that easy. Liavi Kyogo on big money. Yeah, I think he is. I've seen something today. I mean, not that I read these things, I don't like the rumours. Celtic are backing for Kyogo. It's just a funny one to come back. Like quite often with these, if you see, you can tell that they're bullshit. But when it goes away and then comes back, it does just make you wonder if there might be anything in it. Because what I'm looking at, and someone made the point in the group yesterday, is we do only play one up front, and we do only play one up front, is why do you need 4 strikers, Because if we bought another one, we'd have Kyogo, Stansfield, Dux, and Mitrovic, or Salah, or someone. So, could Kyogo be going? I don't want him to go now, because he got his first goal. He'll probably go somewhere else now and score hundreds. But I think he's on, what Lee said there, I think he's right. When people talk about 10 million for Kyogo, I don't think it's true. I think Kyogo probably nearer the 4 million mark that we probably paid for him, and probably over 3 years. He's on a 3-year contract. So we get what's called amortisation over that, so we can spread that cost over 3 years against our financial fair play. So to make up for that, we'd probably have to weigh in a fair bit of money to get Kyogo to come to us, because he got his contract at Reims, who, by the way, had an absolute nightmare last season. So we don't know all the ins and outs of it. No one knows. No one can tell you. Everyone that says however much Kyogo cost, however much Stansfield cost, they're just making it up. They're just looking and guessing. No one knows, and the club won't tell you. And you can't even see that in the club's accounts, because they're all lumped together. So it's pretty much a case of guesswork. I don't know how much Kyogo goes on every week, but I guess he's not. He ain't going to be on a pittance. And I think Chris Davis made a really good point yesterday, and this is why I don't think he is going, because Chris Davis spoke, very positively about him, and he made a great point when he said a lot of our players press, but they don't press aggressively the way Kyogo does. So basically, when a player, and not all of them can do it because they haven't got the pace, but a player can be, and you've seen how quick he is, a player can be 10 metres away with the ball at his feet, and if Kyogo turns the afterburners on, he's on top of him in seconds, and that makes the players panic. And we've seen it last week when he scored. He just took that ball off the player, didn't even, he just completely robbed him, and that's what Kyogo's strength is, that really fast, hard press that he puts in, and it's different to everyone else's. I mean, Stansfield presses really well, but he hasn't got Kyogo's pace to take players by surprise. That's what panics them, especially goalkeepers. And we are playing Swansea on Saturday, so that tomorrow. So that game with that Swansea back four, when you've got Kyogo floating around, which we don't know if it's going to start tomorrow or not. We really don't, because we don't know who's fit and who isn't. But I'm just going to have a quick look uh, at the Swansea team. I don't know the Swansea team obviously, but we're just going to have a little look. They play a four. They play a 4-3-3, I think. We have a little look tomorrow. 6:30 kick off, 5:30 kick off. Pain in the arse, isn't it? But our results are looking better now, aren't they? You know, in the last 5 games, we've lost once. We've won 2, and we've drawn 2. And in those games, we've scored 6, 8 goals in the last 5 games, which is quite good, you know, really. Um, we're 14th now, mid-table, aren't we? And Swansea, where's Swansea? Let's have a little look. I think Swansea is still below us, I think. Yeah, Swansea 17th, got 32 points, they're 2 points below us. So they've got a very, very similar in terms of where they are. Um, they have, I mean, Galbraith is a lovely player. Vipotnik, who is a big striker, he's a nice player. You know, he really is good. I think people have mentioned him before. Someone that would be good for us. He would. So would Josh Sargent. You know, but these players demand big money. We're not going to be playing like 15 to 20 million for someone in January. It just ain't going to happen. Um, they so they they play a possession game, Swansea. Swansea are very set in the way they play football, and they've played it that way for years. Don't forget, Chris Davies was the assistant manager when Swansea got promoted in 2011, was it, to the Premier League. So he knows Swansea well. Swansea wanted him in the close season when we got him 2 seasons ago, and he chose us. Um, but they've got a very good side. Pereira is another really nice player, plays wide on the right side of midfield, so he'll be going down the flanks. Vipotnik up front, but you know, if we've got the right centre-back pairing, which we will have with Kyogo and Robinson, we should be all right with that. Um, Not Kyogo, Clara and Robinson. You know, I feel safe with that. I think we can close them out a little bit tomorrow. What we need to do is put a few people behind the ball, the way we did at times against Coventry and the way we did at times against Cambridge. Just make ourselves a little bit harder to get up, get at, sit a little bit deeper. A point tomorrow wouldn't be the end of the world, but 3 points is what we need because we need to win a lot of games now. If we can go there, do a smash and grab on them, then on Tuesday, hopefully, you know, we've got a new player in. Who could it be? Solis, perhaps. You know, we might have a few players coming back. We've got a lot to look forward to for the rest of this season, but we just have to be a little bit patient. Don't expect the world from this window because I don't think it's going to happen. But I think what we've got so far, looking at it and hearing what I've heard without confirmation, I think we're going to have a very solid window. For us, I think it's going to be Iwata, Robinson, Clara and Wagner across the back four. Pretty much the same as last week. I think Pake and Doyle sitting in front of them. Um, if Stansfield comes back, I don't know who's going to miss out. Um, I'm going to be controversial here and say that if Stansfield's back, he probably will start. He might start on the bench. We won last week. We didn't look too bad really. Um, but I think he might sit. He might have Ducks on the bench, have Kyogo up top, have Stansfield in the 10, and then we got Stansfield and Kumas and Roberts across the front of the midfield with Doyle and Pake sitting deeper. That's what I would do, but I'm not Chris Davies, so Chris Davies is probably going to play Ducks, but let's wait and see. No one knows, do we? So it's all sort of exciting, I think, you know, and particularly if we get Solis over the line, I'll be absolutely delighted with that. I mean, you know, I'm so glad now that I did this when I did it, and someone told me about that. But you know, it's of course we have to say, don't we? We always say it's never done till it's over the line. So let's wait and see and keep our fingers crossed. We've done an hour. So unless anyone wants to say anything else, we're all going a little bit quiet now. Um, thanks for joining me today. What we'll do is we'll Sunday morning we've got the usual one that goes on in Zoom. So I'll put the screen share on that. So all you have to do is go to Zoom, put the numbers in. So there's like a meeting number and a password, and then you're actually in the studio with us. You can sit there with your camera on, you can talk to us, or you can just leave your camera off, leave your mic off, and just sit there quietly and watch. You know, it's as simple as that. Entirely up to you. You do whatever you want. Yeah, it's been nice talking. It's Friday night. Go out, have a few beers, enjoy yourselves. Look forward to the game tomorrow. Keep your fingers crossed. Keep everything crossed that we get the 3 points because we need it now. This is the time for the players to step up now. Hopefully the dressing room is all back in order. Chris Davies, I've got great faith in Chris. I think he's a great manager, and of course Tom Wagner loves him as well. So what more do you need to say, really? Guys, thank you so much for joining me today, and have a fabulous Friday night. And where is it? I always get the wrong arm, don't I? Look, there it is. Look, keep right on. Keep right on, guys. I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.